So at Absa, what we are seeing on the continent, particularly in the region, and it's more important to talk about the region since we are at the Southern Africa Rail Association conference and exhibition. We are looking at countries like Botswana, who are developing 4 key corridors to link them to their neighbors across the regions. In South Africa, what we are observing is the rehabilitation and revitalization of the key corridors by Transnet. And as we all know, the region has been afflicted by prolonged periods of backlog maintenance, which has rendered the infrastructure outdated and inefficient. So we think as Absa, we have a key role to play in funding some of these corridors activities, either from an infrastructure point of view. We believe that train operators are going to be coming in. They will need funding as well. Other players across the value chain, downstream, we see a role where Absa can play. In terms of the challenges, the region, as we know, has to grapple with a lack of integration and lack of policy coordination and harmonization. And we have realized it's at least a key theme that is emerging out of the conference. And we are quite excited that players in the industry at least are having those conversations to say, let's talk about how we can put together systems in place and platforms in place where we can coordinate policy and legal frameworks. And that will enable banks such as us to be able to have access to information as we conduct our due diligence and so forth, and be able to fast track all these lending activities. Regional integration is key to actually unlocking the economic growth potential of the region, and we see rail as one of the key driving forces because it is the quickest way to interlink the region through these corridors that are both in South Africa. We have corridors that are existing that link us to countries like Eswatini, but with the emergence of Libito Corridor further up, coming down from Angola, if we can map out this interlinked, we believe that is going to ease the flow of trade, and that will result in economic benefits for the region. I think different funding institutions in all their makeups have different roles to play. Us being a commercial banks, we see the role of partnerships with TFIs, export credit agencies and so forth, key in the realization of some of these funding projects because of the different skill sets and capacities and the configuration of in this different institution. For instance, you might be aware that as a commercial bank, we would not necessarily have the same capabilities of conducting project appraisals and so forth that the likes of other DFIs would do. So those partnerships will help us in terms of the information flow, sharing and collaboration so that we can fast track the funding of some of these key initiatives that we are seeing on the continent.